I want to explain 2 reasons why I'm still holding Pyth even though nothing I say is financial advice. Well, first of all, it's because the idea of maybe $2, it hasn't left my mind. I get it, altcoins are not necessarily doing the best as of right now, and when it comes to Pyth, attention isn't necessarily the best for it either. However, I still like the project nonetheless, and again, why wouldn't $2 necessarily surprise me? It's around a 13x from here, which I'm totally aware that it's not going to be the best hypothetical upside if it were to even maybe happen in the first place. But then when I take a look at Bitcoin going to 300 grand, that's less than a 3x from here. When I take a look at Ethereum going to 10 grand, that's less than a 3x from here. That maybe doesn't necessarily excite me. However, again, sometimes people like to say, okay, why even talk about hypothetical upside then? Well, it's because to me, I'm not necessarily looking for a microcap, because for one that maybe does well, there's like a bunch that don't. So I'm just focused on these type of projects that have a pretty decent market cap, but then it's not like too massive, but not too small either. However, even besides that, when I take a look at $2 market cap at that point, considering current circulating supply, it'd be around 11.5 billion. It wouldn't necessarily surprise me because I just don't feel like maybe it's such a ridiculous market cap in the grand scheme of things, but only time will tell. I've seen Shiba Inu reach around 40 billion, and that was like back in 2021. And again, I'm talking about in terms of market cap. However, another reason why I'm still holding when it comes to Pyth is because I like the fundamentals, and this actually brings me to my second reason as to why I'm still holding Pyth. Now, if we take a look at Pyth, it's a blockchain oracle for market data. Now, some people may be thinking, like, why would you care about that? Now, let me explain why. Well, it's because if we take a look at projects that are focused on oracles, I think the most popular one is something called Chainlink. However, if I take a look at it, what is an oracle in this case, right? It's basically a data feed that brings data from off the chain, so it's off-chain data, and then it brings that data over into the blockchain. The reason why this is, needed in some cases is because a lot of decentralized applications out there, without this off-chain data, they can't really function properly. So it's pretty crucial in my perspective. Now, granted, Chainlink is just way more popular than Pyth as of right now, but I still think that Pyth is pretty popular in its own regard, right? Because typically when I ask my friends out there what they think about when they think about, these type of projects that have like an oracle aspect, a lot of my friends out there, they pretty much mention either Chainlink or Pyth. However, even besides that as well, what I like about Pyth is kind of like the Solana aspect. If we take a look at it, even according to Solana, the Pyth network is a high-frequency oracle built using Solana ecosystem technology. And again, I'm a big fan of Solana, so I do like this sort of presence, or should I say aspect, of that when it comes to Pyth. But then the way you take a look at Pyth is that it's basically like kind of having somewhat of the aspects of Chainlink, but then with just a way lower market cap. This is just the way you take a look at it. So to me, I like the fundamentals, and I'm just staying patient, holding, and just waiting, dollar cost averaging, and that's pretty much it. Because whenever the markets want to wake up when it comes to altcoins, it's going to be beyond my control. So whether or not it happens hypothetically, maybe next month, or it waits until next year, and whenever that happens, maybe even hypothetically, if it extends until next year, again, whenever that timeline is, it's going to be beyond my control. So whether or not it happens hypothetically October this year, or let's say it waits until January, February, or March of 2026, whenever that timeline is, it's going to be beyond my control again. But there's one thing I can do, and that is just control myself. So I'm going to be dollar cost averaging, holding, and waiting, and just staying patient. I treat it like a marathon, and I just want to be prepared in an event where maybe it does something, and that's pretty much about it. And those are 2 reasons why I'm still holding Pyth. And feel free to subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I'd greatly appreciate it. It's only the Captain, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.